Welcome back, folks. We're here for our second set of the Gauntlet. My name's Tom, and that's Anatoly. We're going to get into Most Wanted versus EnVyUs. Now, Most Wanted just absolutely made a name for themselves here, at least in my eyes, in set number 1. They take Noble down in 3 games, and they look very strong doing so.
Absolutely. There's the synergy between Plazma, ManRay, as well as NikHaro is doing such a great job, is that there was just a lot of noise and disruption between those 3 specifically. I love the way they played in the last set against Noble. We'll see how they'll transition it into a new roster against EnVyUs.
Exactly. Like we said, EnVyUs has switched things up a little bit. We've got the return of NeiruMah to the big stage. He's a player that a lot of the high-end players know. He's been around the scene for a long time, but hasn't really made an impact just yet, and now's his opportunity. We're going to see him next to T-Money, a player everybody knows in the high-end ranked scene, and they've got another player alongside.
Yeah, it's going to be Kiki going into the solo lane, and Cabom, that was their sub for the last Group D LAN, the coach, being able to go into that hunter position in place of Ocean. So we'll see if EnVyUs is going to be able to make those quick adjustments now. We've seen some rosters being switched up a lot, but this is probably the biggest roster change out of all of the gauntlets so far. One,
you're going to get Kiki back into his natural position, I would say solo lane is. He's played a number of positions throughout his career, but solo lane was definitely the most tenured. As far as how long he's been playing there and how, honestly, how successful I think he's been. Kiki, I think, has seen his most success, at least his height of gameplay in my eyes, in the solo lane. So we'll see Gaga's little monster one more time return to his original position. NeiruMah, like I said, I think will make a bigger impact than I think some people might expect. My eyes are on T-Money and Cabom. Cabom was a lukewarm player when he came the last time in the SPL, and we'll see how T-Money reacts to the big stage. He has yet to really play in this type of arena, so we're going to see how he reacts. On the other hand, Most Wanted, they've already got 1 set under their belt, so not only are they here to play, but they're also warmed up. Still the underdog, I would say, but if I'm
slightly
sure,
slightly,
I think by name only,
yes,
they're the underdog. And if I'm brutally honest, Toly, I think this is absolutely another winnable set.
And just like that, seeing the last set against Most Wanted, they recognize that ManRay's Raw was just no bueno. They don't want to deal with it. They don't even want to pick it right now. They're going to be able to ban that one away, going for a different option, probably electing to want to get the core between Kiki and Skeeledon, the last 2 remaining members of the original EnVyUs roster, at least from the fall split, and they want to be able to play off of each other. So it's interesting to see how EnVyUs is going to develop through this first picks and bans draft with their new roster.
For sure, because there's a lot of different directions to go as Guan Yu is banned out against the guys from Most Wanted. Really, the one direction you can go is, like you said, you can bless Kiki and bless Skeeledon and keep them in mind as they're 2 of the old guard, or you can be careful about your rookie and give NeiruMah and T-Money their pick of the litter. It's a very, there's a lot of different options that enemy can go here.
And I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if they elect to go for those rookie first picks, right? They want to try to make into their comfort zone. I think T-Money's well known and respected, honestly, for his Scotty coming into the ranked scene. He was able to actually play that one god specifically and get into Grandmasters off of that one god alone. But transitioning from a hunter role, going to play a more traditional mage right off the bat, Janus. We didn't see that in the last set, but this mobility is going to be very difficult for Most Wanted to deal with already.
And I love Janus specifically in instances like this, Anatoly, because Janus is a god. First of all, he's just very good, and that's nice to say. But he also can cover mistakes very easily. Sure. Your positioning mistakes, if you're standing next to a wall, that's a big if. But your positioning mistake can be sort of counteracted. T-Money can help himself out as well as help out his teammates. Skeeledon is frequently in the wrong spot. A portal will be able to help Skeeledon out as well, along with the rest of the squad as well. So Janus is a great option for a team that's a little bit newer as far as the synergy is concerned, and even just gameplay, because he covers mistakes a lot. Nemesis and Bacchus for Most Wanted. We saw how well the Bacchus selection worked out for Most Wanted, and the Nemesis is going to go hand in hand with the Fat Man.
I'm surprised that Plazma didn't elect to go for the Thor. It was very successful for him in games number 1 and 3, but electing to go for a Nemesis, synergizing with the aggression from NikHaro's Bacchus. I like the idea and the mindset there. They're going to be able to really lock down anybody out of position, or even if Sobek commits to a charge prey.
Jing, absolutely. DayToRemeber looked really strong on this one. You know, like it was interesting interesting. The Soul had a very lane-dominant impact, but didn't really do much in the late game, and, well, frankly, I think that's more Soul than the player. But DayToRemeber going to play here on the Jing way. I think this is a potent pick for DayToRemeber. We saw him really make the impact in game number 3 and really assist the team in exactly what he needed to do.
And more importantly, it's to also counteract the Sobek, the tail whips into the plucks. He could use the agility mid-air, which is another great escape mechanic for Jing Wei. DayToRemeber playing that Hunter. So we'll see how the dual lane progresses so far. It could be potentially Soul. Yeah, it is going to be actually the Soul in the dual lane with Janus being in mid. Really not probably going to see Soul in the solo lane. Kiki does like to explore options though sometimes.
Yeah,
you never know.
Definitely need to keep your mind open when it comes to that. And I love Most Wanted just immediately. This is, you know, talking about again about high-level strategy, doing their homework and understanding the Skeeledon plays the Ratatasker and the Najad high level. Going to ban that out. The Scylla and the Raijin will be banned against ManRay. So Envy understanding that they have to be a little bit careful of that mid lane prowess as well. So Most Wanted, they've got one selection. It's going to be solo or mid lane right here. Likely to be the mid lane to leave Aquarius with a counter pick. And it will be the Agni.
It's going to be more setup for Most Wanted. It's not going to provide that heavy burst, such as the Scylla, the Ra, even maybe the Poseidon, for example. Yeah. There's a lot of options that they could have elected to go for, but instead, trying to play more for the team fight focus. Bacchus, he doesn't now have to commit to that belly flop if he doesn't want to. They could utilize ManRay's engage from a distance, utilizing those bomb stuns for anybody out of position.
And here's one of the nice things that, you know, I initially made a face. I kind of wanted that burst damage, but when it comes down to it, Bacchus Intoxicate, Bacchus belly flop. When I say Bacchus, I mean belly flop in all honesty. Bacchus belly flop into the Intoxicate with a Nemesis ultimate. You don't need a Ra snipe Poseidon ultimate. That's overkill. You need a bomb or two, right? So the Agni will be able to set that up. Envy, on the other hand, Bastet in the jungle and Chaac will be the selection for Kiki in that solo lane, taking that away from Aquarius. So we'll see how that one works out. Last pick going to Most Wanted, and it'll be the Amaterasu, something that we saw Aquarius do very well on as well. So we do see Bastet on Skeeledon, and I think that's going to be a good selection for him. How well does it go up against Most Wanted? That's the question.
There's a lot of mobility from both teams right now. Janus for EnVyUs onto Team Money, Aquarius on Most Wanted playing this Amaterasu. I'm really surprised that EnVyUs elected not to go for the double mobility, taking the Chaac instead. Could be a little bit of a comfort pick for Kiki. It is a very safe god in the laning phase. You can throw the axe from a distance. You don't have to really worry too much about any sort of danger or being out-cleared, especially from this Amaterasu in the early game, who doesn't really full clear the wave up until level 6. So Chaac should have a good time.
I'm looking at this dual lane. Envy, Cabom.
Ooh, they're getting collapsed on.
Yeah, NeiruMah on the Sobek. Great level 1 character. The split up from Most Wanted. Going to leave NeiruMah trying to figure out which character.
DayToRemeber, look where he is. He's between the tier 2 and the tier 1 tower. He has nowhere to go.
Oh, he's dead.
He has to go through this tier 1 tower. He's going to get stopped by Kiki.
Yeah, he's going to be toasted. The collapse from Skeeledon here. Nice little agility, but still, the cat scratch is going to be good enough. There's a slam down from the axe. Oh, DayToRemeber still not dead just yet. Able to collapse onto his own tower. Shifty move out of the Jing way.
But having to level up the agility now. Not going to have the potential to clear very efficiently on the dual lane side of things. It's going to hurt everybody involved. Team Money's going to get hurt by this. NeiruMah is going to get hurt by this. It's just going to be very problematic from this.
Yeah, it should be troublesome for those players' opponents. DayToRemeber here, still going to go and opt to clear the back camps. I thought we would see the foregoing of the back camps and instead just focus on the red buff, but instead still going for the full clear.
And that was actually, I would say, very smart to elect to not, or to get the agility just to prevent the first blood, because despite you might not having the same kind of dual lane presence, giving up that about 315 gold to that first primary target that gets the first blood is not really worth it. ManRay aggressively dashing only on the 3 melee minions though, and to Team Money just electing to go for a little bit of poke now.
Now it's interesting here. Before we were looking at sort of players that had dominance, right? Most Wanted looking up at Aduro in the mid lane and some of the other players on Noble. Here, Most Wanted, I think this is an even matchup as far as experience is concerned in the mid lane. Team Money never playing on a big stage like this. ManRay, I think he's been in and out of his own relegation matches here or there, but still known as a ranked player and a Challenger Cup player. So Team Money and ManRay should be more of a experience-wise even matchup as far as their individual skill. We'll see how Team Money really develops into this one.
And in this matchup between Janus and Agni, we're going to probably see a lot of rotations for Team Money, trying to set up a side lane gank with Skeeledon playing onto this Bastet, trying to utilize the kitties to their efficiency, trying to maybe even go for some sneaky Gold Fury plays. Could potentially look for sneaky play where if they use that ultimate into the solo lane for the counter disengage, they don't always have to commit to going through those portals. They can instead just walk on over, secure the Gold Fury with those kitties, and I'm expecting a lot of synergy between Team Money and Skeeledon as the game progresses.
Certainly look for that one. Solo lane, Aquarius versus Kiki. As I said, this is in my eyes, Kiki's home, right? And you know, it's actually really funny because I asked him specifically. I said, hey, Kiki, when we had the interviews here on Media Day, when he came with his group for the second half of our placement stage, the regular season, whatever you want to call it, I said, hey, Kiki, you know, what's the chances of we seeing you in the solo lane back, you know, in your home anytime soon? And he was like, I don't know. I really enjoy the mid lane and blah, blah, blah.
Ooh, Team Money.
Team Money. Not going to enjoy that play at all.
I like the idea, though, from Plazma trying to dash through Team Money, which would have potentially allowed him the opportunity to body block that portal from Team Money, and that could have been a first blood if they saw a rotation coming out of ManRay. But now Kiki getting poked out quite heavily. It looks like both of the ultimates were expended in that solo lane.
Yeah, that's going to give the potion differential to Aquarius. He's got one multi-pod above Kiki, so not too big of a deal, but still, those small increments are always something you got to look at for the solo lane. Kiki backs the base and picks up one before he comes on back with the teleport, so that'll even things out in that regard.
And that's going to allow Aquarius to clear the way first and now make that rotation to the Fire Giant Elementals. That's going to allow him to get that 45 gold if he shares this with Plazma, who's also going to get that 90 gold with the Bumbus Mask. So huge little small play rather, that'll add up for most one. I say huge because of the timing of it, right?
Huge little small play there.
Yeah, huge little small play. Honestly, that's if
solo
they can
lane.
get all of them, that's the solo mentality. You get the Fire Giant Elementals, you're feeling really good about yourself. But now without an ultimate, Kiki is going to get targeted by Plazma. Does have Warrior Tabby now, so should be able to outrun this.
Even still gets slowed, and he's going to be able to heal up just a little bit. The ultimate out of Team Money saves Kiki's life by sending the other players back onto the tower.
And that's going to be a good trade in terms of the ultimates.
The
But
invade
ManRay, though, looks like he did not able to secure the own speed buff, but did get a little bit of poke onto Skeeledon. I was mentioning before, training out the Nemesis ultimate for Janus is definitely in most wanted's favor. A huge global presence now taken away from EnVyUs, and it's a smaller cooldown for the Nemesis.
Right now, EnVyUs is going to look for their own speed buff after their successful invade here. Kiki's going to get dashed on, and, you know, just wrapping up the story that I was saying before, Kiki really did not, you know, and a lot of times, you know, being part of the media, if you will, right, you can sort of sniff out when a player is being coy and I might not play solo. And Kiki 100% did not plan on playing solo in a couple of weeks ago. So this is a new revelation, I think, for Team Envy, with Kiki shifting over back to solo. I think it's a positive, however. Kiki, in my eyes, like I said, has always just been a solo laner.
Aquarius, though, he's going to be the time focus now of Skeeledon, but a great timing of the ultimate, preventing the silence, but it doesn't matter. He was just too far out of position, and that's going to be first blood now, credited to Skeeledon. That's going to allow him a little bit of momentum on this Bastet, and that's something you really want to be able to do, is to get those power spike plays, try to finish off that Jotun's Wrath, look for those cooldowns, look for more plays in the side lanes.
And just fantastic play coming out there from the guys on Envy. Off to a great start so far, not just with the first blood that'll give them 500 gold in their pocket, but also a nice little invade coming out onto the enemy speed buff. So Envy now leading by over 1,000, looking at more like 1,500 to be specific. And that's going to be Envy's launching board for the mid game.
Just a little bit more even experience on that side, almost 2,000. More importantly, onto Kiki. That's going to allow him to really start bullying out Aquarius before he gets the Breastplate of Valor, before he starts maxing out the aura for the higher sustain options. So now, Kiki electing to back, trying to match with that physical defense, getting tier 2 Breastplate, whereas Aquarius only with tier 1 at this point in time.
Yeah, it's going to be a good look there. And sort of, you know, I sort of made fun of you for your turn of phrase, but I actually think it's really accurate for the solo lane. The huge little small play, right? That's what solo lane is all about. It's all about these tiny little small plays, these small increments that wind up being a very big deal.
it's what you have to do. You have to stack up all the little plays. If you can get an advantage, it's not about diving the tower and looking for the kill. It's about what is available for you to strip away from the enemy jungle. Even if that is a neutral camp that can be contested by both sides, the fact that you pick it up and denying it to the opposition is what allows you to get those power spike plays. And yet again, Skeeledon just looking for a little bit of poke, and that's what you have to do as this Bastet. Just keep looking for any sort of damage you can find.
Kiki gaining the dominance in the lane as he's supposed to on this Chaac. A little bit of damage onto the Bacchus. Here he's going to be greeted by a couple of more ultimates. Pounce is good, but not that far along. Team Money finds a great portal and honestly saves the life of Skeeledon right there, just like we were mentioning.
Barely able to escape from that one. The Pounce just now coming back off of cooldown for Skeeledon to get away from that one. So missed opportunity for Most Wanted. Unfortunately, not going to be able to get anything out of it except for securing their own speed buff, not allowing EnVyUs to steal it for the second time in a row.
So really here in the mid game, you can see that, like I said, Envy off to a pretty large lead here, relatively speaking, with the 1,500 this early on. Now stripped down to about 1,000, it looks like. Most Wanted doing a decent job of biting back, but what's the next spot that Envy can really take their start off to and look to catapult?
I think that Kiki should keep looking to be aggressive in the solo lane. Aquarius doesn't have his aura maxed out. Try to trade out ultimates maybe, and once that happens, then that's going to allow Skeeledon for an easy timing to really look for a kill onto Aquarius. All they have to worry about is the dash escape, and with the ultimate from Team Money providing a little bit more mobility, that could be an easy option for EnVyUs to explore.
So Envy certainly going to look to push off of the Chaac, it seems, which is certainly a character that functions well in the early game. That's pretty much his goal here. And right now, that's exactly what they're going to look for. Aquarius going to be the target. He avoids the ultimate with a nice little dash and tries to answer back with one of his own. This seems to be over-aggressive. And he's going to be able to find his way back onto his own tower, but he's still chased by everybody else.
Oh my goodness, the body blocks from Skeeledon were just so perfect. Even though Aquarius avoided the initial Chaac ultimate with his dash, that put him out of position, closer to the tier 1 tower out of EnVyUs, and now that allowed everybody else to collapse on him. But now everybody's collapsing onto these two hunters.
The Most Wanted now looking for the kill on the Team Money. The initiation out of the Bacchus a little bit too late. Now got to wait on that cooldown over 10 seconds, so not likely to go ahead and collapse onto Cabom.
The rotation from Kiki, though, he does teleport over, throws out the axe, just poking out NikHaro a little bit, nothing too much. He did pick up the Sunder now, second relic for Kiki, not opting for a Wrath or any sort of team fight relic, wanting to really find these kills onto one of these tanky frontliners.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Amaterasu and Bacchus, so Nemesis also can likely build into a very tanky build, so the Sunder might come in handy should Nemesis go in that direction.
Could potentially be a Void Shield coming out of her in the later stages. That has been a very popular item in the earlier patches, but with patch 3.20 now, I expect Plazma to maybe build into Stone Cutting Sword. It is now 2,600 gold as opposed to 2,900. It does provide you that 10% movement speed, along with a pretty decent power spike, so that's something that Plazma should look to explore after finishing off that Jotun's Wrath.
We've also seen a lot of these players play Nemesis more aggressive. Nemesis for the longest time has been a very tanky sort of frontline character with an ult as an ult bot, but recently, I mean, even Andins are going so far to build crit, or adapting rather, going so far to build critical strike on her. Nemesis has quickly transitioned into being a hard carry.
And not only that, it's adapting that likes to build it onto the Willishes of the world, wants to try to look for more of these plays and the mobility. If your Suzuku is off cooldown, the Stone Cutting Sword could allow you to make that initial gap closer, but now the speed buff being contested yet again, and this time it's going to be Skeeledon yet again stealing it.
Here comes help, however, from Most Wanted, still looking for their first kill, looking right up at a goose egg on the scoreboard, can't find it just yet, and NeiruMah's going to make sure and it's not going to go that way. Kiki finds a second one as well. 4-zip. Envy off to a tear in game number 1.
Skeeledon has been doing such a great job of baiting himself out there, using the purification, jumping away from all those cooldowns. The Intoxicate was just not on the mark from NikHaro to confirm that kill. Wasn't there also to confirm his own speed buff. So that's allowing EnVyUs with a second speed buff invade in a row, as well as additional kills. And now they're looking to invade the red buff on top of this. Great objective control in this early game from EnVyUs.
I can't find it just yet. Gold Fury still stands. Envy not yet pulling the trigger. And here's a little bit of aggression in the mid lane. Quickly turned to a lot And ManRay just taken out. That one caught me by surprise, Soli.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a pluck. Despite the purification being utilized, he was still stuck in that single target. So the supernova coming out of Cabom was absolutely devastating.
What's different here? What's going, like, Envy has been off to a tear. Most Wanted can't seem to find their footing. They looked so confident, they being Most Wanted in set number 1. What's the difference here? Why is everything so slippery?
I think it's the Janus, honestly, the mobility to provide from EnVyUs. None of the Silence wants to play aggressive or should be playing aggressive because of the counter gank potential coming out of Team Money, right? Then you have Skeeledon playing this Bastet, who's always looking for the speed buff invades. If you give him an inch, he's going to take a mile, strip that buff away from you, which without the speed buff alone, he's already fast enough with the Pounce providing that mobility, with Threshold providing that extra movement speed. So I would just say EnVyUs' mobility strat is taking Most Wanted by surprise. But Aquarius, once he starts rotating to these team fights and his aura gets maxed out, he'll also try to counteract that with his aura.
So right now, Envy, they're up 3,000 gold in about 12 minutes, and it's 5-0. The kills, you know, they are what they are. The experience is interesting, 5,000 as well. Most Wanted, they have I would say a later game composition than Envy. We see a Chaac, we see a Bastet, you know, we see a Janus. All of these characters really hit their stride at about 15 to 20 minutes. Most Wanted, on the other hand, late game Nemesis, late game Amaterasu. Jing obviously more of a late game character leaning on that critical strike. How much is too much? Is Most Wanted in a lot of trouble, or just a little bit?
Well, they're going to be in a lot of trouble if EnVyUs secures this Gold Fury, but it's going to be DayToRemeber focused out, forced into the purification, agilitying away, but it's going to be NeiruMah.
Aquarius is here with the Wrath.
That ult.
Aquarius is here with the Wrath. Most Wanted take away the Gold Fury. They're looking for the confirm, and they get it! Team Money's able to answer back along with Skeeledon, so that's 2 for none, but Most Wanted take away the gold.
And NikHaro, he doesn't have the belly flop available, so that should be the 3rd death for Most Wanted. It is, and another pluck onto ManRay, utilizing that dash. He's going to be probably chased into oblivion. Kiki, though, trying to dive that tower. Skeeledon diving into that tower, pouncing back away, just finding 3 kills. Despite losing that Gold Fury, they're going to keep on pressing towards this tier 1 mid tower, trying to negate the loss.
Skeeledon right here, man. Skeeledon is a character that a lot of people behind the scenes have seen him play at a very high level, and were honestly surprised when he looked not good. I had other words in mind. When he looked not good in the SPL, a lot of us were surprised, saying, hey, this is not the Skeeledon we expected to see. This is the Skeeledon I think a lot of people honestly expected to see, and it's a nice change of pace for those of us that have seen Skeeledon perform at a high level, and this is what's to be expected. So unfortunately for Skeeledon and his team, it's happening here when their backs are at the absolute wall. Right? You have to win here, otherwise your season ends until next year.
Well,
so
there is a best of 3, so even if Most Wanted or EnVyUs lose this one, they still have 1 more game to go despite that factor. So still looking to play aggressive is EnVyUs, trying to think about some options to dive this tier 1 tower, but instead moving on over to this blue buff. The axe is Grood over the wall. Skeeledon still around here, forcing out the dash from Aquarius, and this is probably going to allow EnVyUs to actually get this tower. The kitties are available.
Yeah, I love the play that's coming out of Skeeledon right now, just understanding that he's got the pressure, he's got the lead. Doesn't have to use the cats if he doesn't need them, but elects to use them at the end, knowing that the tower is going to fall down. And that's going to be that.
Just a little bit of poke. They don't have to actually commit to this. The rotation, we saw the fact that the Aquarius was able to clear the way with his second ability. The kitties didn't stick on the tower. They always dedicate themselves to a next closest target god. That's the AI option. So that's going to be now Kiki forcing down a bunch of dashes and escapes from Most Wanted, and now they're going to confront the tower.
There's the tower going down. That'll be the 2nd tower of the game. Its mid lane tower has already fallen just before. 15 minutes on the clock. Still 0 for Most Wanted. Envy up 8 kills and 3,000 gold.
But it's not too much right now because the fact that they lost that Gold Fury. Most Wanted was doing a good job with Aquarius, making that important rotation, confirming that gold with the Wrath option. So that limits the potential for EnVyUs to grow their lead. But now it's going to be Most Wanted thinking that EnVyUs left this tier 1 tower, but NeiruMah looking for the pluck, going to find it onto Nemesis.
And that's going to be 1, and Team Money tries to find something but doesn't find a target. NeiruMah in the ultimate sends NikHaro
Thought there was going to be more follow-up, honestly, off of that one initial plug, but they do successfully defend their tier 1 tower in the solo lane. It's going to allow the rest of EnVyUs to look for more of a counter engage yet again. It was EnVyUs engaging, and then it was Most Wanted re-engaging, and now yet again EnVyUs on the onslaught, looking for any sort of hole that they could potentially fill. And Skeeledon looking at the dual lane as the next option, trying to get DayToRemeber out of this lane so they can get another tier 1 tower.
And there's the ultimate out of both Bastet and the Janus, bringing players over to the left-hand side. Envy gonna take away the tower again.
Well, not quite yet. They're gonna poke it out yet again, similar to the way they did it in the solo lane, making it a lot easier now. If anyone is out of position from Most Wanted, we could see Cabom playing the Soul just absolutely melt this tower, because the way Soul works with her heat, once it is at 100% stacked, you get extra attack speed, you get extra magical power, making it that much easier to siege a tower, even despite not having minions.
Most Wanted getting exposed here by Envy. Just Envy looking so clean. Most Wanted not able to find anything
ultimate
here. DayToRemeber in trouble, gets flipped back right in the hands of Cabom, but honestly that flip might have helped more than it hurt. But there's the follow-up. Sanctuary saves his life for the moment. He's likely going to fall down. Nice
still
little
alive.
knock up, and there's Cabom with the last hit.
I thought that he was going to survive there for a quick second, but now Team Money, though, he's caught in an awkward spot, does have the portal to get away. 4 members from Most Wanted around the left side. Mid-Harpies are going to get collapsed on, though. Kiki making the rotation, forcing the dash out of Aquarius. Now, with that kill onto DayToRemeber, all that damage on the left-hand side tower is going to allow the Cabom to freely push to the left side, get another tier 1 tower.
And Most Wanted right now, still down about 5,000 gold. Fantastic play coming out of Envy so far. Do you think it's the opposition, or do you think it's the roster changes? Totally.
I think that it's just the opposition at this point in time. The roster changes, it has been a little bit more impressive than I thought. Initially, I thought that despite, Most Wanted coming from the Challenger Cup, that EnVyUs' roster was so dismantled without Cyclone Spin, Oceans, and Polar Bear Mike that it would be a very difficult task for them to really rise to the ranks of the North American Gauntlet. But so far, in this first game of the set, they've been showing really big signs of life. They're not going to go down without a fight, and they're really here to go into Super Regionals.
Right now, Envy certainly equipped to do so, at least against Most Wanted. Early start coming here. Of course, this is a best of 3, a lot of Smite to be played, but Envy looking clean as a whistle at the moment.
Trying to bait out the Gold Fury here. Going to be able to get that Sentry Ward. Now, they don't actually want to pull this Gold Fury yet again, because they have to respect the Wrath yet again from Aquarius. They could potentially look to bait out the Teleport by forcing out the Gold Fury, and then maybe have a split push potential from Skeeledon on the right. Look to drop those kitties on the tier 2 tower, even in mid potentially. Just try to drag all 5 members from Most Wanted and utilize that split push Bastet style. Bastet also has teleport at the second relic spot. Once he does finish out this Titan's Bane, which actually just finishes now, having those 3 penetration items will allow him to secure any of these towers that he wants.
So that certainly will be looking for the structures and how long they're going to stay alive. Right now, Most Wanted just trying to maintain ward vision on the objective, the Gold Fury, but that's not going to be the case as Envy's able to clear that one out. So as we're inching towards 20 minutes, Envy made a lot of noise in the early game, and now mid-game have just kind of shut up. They're very quiet right now. What are they? What is the situation? What is the timing that they're waiting for here, Tully?
I think they're waiting for what we see on the right-hand side is Skeeledon making the rotation on right, just flirting with the ideas like, hey, listen, I have kitties, I could drop this, you have to deal with my split push, and if you do, I could make the counter rotation. Now being able to poke out Aquarius quite heavily, down to half health now, just going to be able to force out those constant aura switches. Both of these gods in the soul lane do have teleport, though, to make the rotation on the left-hand side if something were to break out around this Gold Fury.
Yeah, even the Bastet does have that teleport. Expect to see Skeeledon all over the map. But he'll be able to make that rotation at a moment's notice if need be.
And he is pushing on the right-hand side. It seems that Aquarius wasn't there. He drops the kitties to try to get this tower, but it was killed very quickly. Not able to really get it, but did get it to less than half health, so he will try again later on. But now Skeeledon taking a lot of poke. The ultimate was used. Fire Giant was pulled. The mobility from Aquarius is there, but speed buff onto the Bastet. The Wrath for the stun. Not able to find the kill, but they're going to try to go for the dive.
Aquarius really looking for it.
He didn't find it.
Misses the mirror shot. I understand the desperation there. You're looking at the goose egg. You need to find that first kill for the team. However, Team Money now the target. The ultimate coming out of Plazma. Envy deep in the jungle of Most Wanted. NeiruMah gonna heal up off of the red buff, and the rest of the team gonna group up and look towards Aquarius, who makes the late rotation. Envy now gonna start the Gold Fury. They have a significant lead at about 5,000 gold, and they're gonna look to push that even further.
And this is smart for Envy to start the Gold Fury because the Wrath was used onto Skeeledon just to be able to stun him and look for the kill. But now NikHaro getting a nice intoxicate onto 4 members.
Huge play!
Oh, a nice play from DayToRemeber. He's going to dive the backline. A lot of damage. Cabom into his disapparate form. Agility trying to find the kill. He does find it. And now NeiruMah, what are you doing? NikHaro falls, but Bastet jumping over the wall. So far it's been a 1 for 2, 2 for 2 as ManRay gets taken out by Kiki.
Kiki able to answer on the Chaac. Here comes 2 players from Most Wanted surrounding KikiSoCheeky. Aquarius and DayToRemeber. There's the ultimate out of 1. Stunned him. Couldn't get it as he's immune. He walks right on through the portal.
Beautiful play from EnVyUs, being able to come back into that one. I thought they were going to get absolutely smoked because that intoxicate coming out of NikHaro was just so perfect in the backline, absolutely disrupting all of EnVyUs' flow, but Kiki was just too much to really handle at that point, being able to respond, killing ManRay in the process.
How did Kiki not get stunned?
Honestly, normally, I would give you an answer here.
But I'm so perplexed.
He doesn't have any sort of, because it did say immune, right? And he didn't use the ultimate.
Has to be DR.
I'm pretty sure I saw the immune there, but either way.
It was immune, so at that point it has to be DR, which it's an advanced technique, and basically what happens is subsequent CCs, subsequent crowd controls, each one that comes after one another will reduce the effect of a subsequent crowd control all the way down to immune in this case. So Kiki honestly just gets lucky with it. Honestly,
he still would have gotten away either way. Even if he did get stunned there, the portal was lasting long enough for him to come back away from the stun, going to be able to take the portal. He didn't have that opportunity to really get body blocked. Now Skeeledon, though, doing a great job covering around that wall, preventing that third hit from coming out. Still has a portal to go through, but now exploring that option. But NikHaro, though, not able to really belly flop onto that one.
So Most Wanted still down. Envy with a nice little lead of about 4,000. Most Wanted, on the other hand, they've got their kills. They've got 2 kills now. A little bit more confident. You can see the gameplay already just reflecting that. NikHaro being a little bit aggressive. Gold Fury being started. Most Wanted likely going to leash it here and to try and fight.
They're feeling very confident despite them not being successful too much in these last engagements. They are down 4,000 gold, but it's at the 23-minute mark where it doesn't matter too much. ManRay getting zoned out by Skeeledon. Skeeledon, though, going to eat that Nemesis ulti in the process. NikHaro very out of position here. Has to use that sprint just to get away.
There's the ultimate out of Kiki. Going to knock a few players up. DayToRemeber gets aggressive, dashes forward, and then finds a safety spot on the backside. Everybody collapsing onto the support. NeiruMah in trouble. Dashes away to the left-hand side. Supernova to separate the rest of the team. NikHaro is going to take a little bit of damage. Nice stun onto Kiki. Here's the belly flop. It's missing, but Aquarius certainly won't. And there's Kiki falling down. Skeeledon looking for the kill onto Aquarius. He's going to find it. Well done by the Bastet pilot. And that's kill number 12 for Envy.
Trading 1 for 1, solo for solo, but now that means there's no Wrath for Most Wanted to take away this Gold Fury. Plazma is here, but he only has a slice and dice. Is that going to be enough? The answer is no. EnVyUs do secure their first Gold Fury of the game, now extending their lead to about 5,500 gold, 8,000 experience to boot. This is something that they have to keep playing off of, is their experience gap, trying to start grouping up and look for these team fights. They have more mobility onto Team Money here, as well as the level advantage. You want to start getting these fights off before ManRay hits his stride at level 20.
And so now 24.5 on the clock, folks. Envy with a dozen, and Most Wanted, well, they've got 3. A little bit of a lopsided match here, although it's just 6,000. Something that Most Wanted can absolutely fight into. A lot of eyes have been on specifically Team Money and NeiruMah, 2 of the newer players here. We've seen Cabom, and this is pretty much what Cabom does. He's a rather passive player in the hunter role. Definitely not going to look for the fights individually, but will have an impact in the team fights as long as he can maintain his positioning, which, being a passive player, is not really an issue. And it's all about Team Money and NeiruMah, some of the lesser-known players, I would say.
Skeeledon
just whiffing that one, but not going to whiff the follow-up.
Perfect stun, disrupting the kitties from being placed by Skeeledon. So ManRay going to walk away with that one. And that was only 2 abilities being done onto ManRay. That was the Scratchies and the Pounce right there onto ManRay.
Yeah, and that's the damage that Bastet does. You can see the build coming out, just pure power. You got the Jotuns, and then you've got a 40-20 hammer, 40-20 mace, and then another 40-20 mace there in the Crusher. 40 power, 20 pen is what I'm referencing. And then, of course, the Titan's Bane as well. So Skeeledon's going to be able to bark down these towers very quickly.
Not today, says the rest of Most Wanted. They're going to be able to chase that one down. Might have to commit to an ultimate. Finds the last in him, uses the ultimate just for good measure. Doesn't matter, finds the kill. Great usage. I'm looking for any wards on the minimap that might have spotted that out. I don't really see any coming from Most Wanted. They must have just recognized that that was an opening and immediately respond with perfect timing.
Yeah, that was just the adaptation, really. Expecting Skeeledon to look for that split push, and DayToRemeber able to make a count, find a couple of in-hands, and get the kill. Tier 1 tower on the left side will go the way of Most Wanted, so they're able to bite back a little bit. But Kiki looking good, playing defense against 2, now playing defense against 3, as Aquarius comes around from the flip side.
Kiki has to teleport though now, trying to find some more setup into the dual lane. Plazma is the primary target. The portal is good from Team Money. He's trying to lock down that member. The shield is going to top him off a little bit longer, but now the overcommitment is there by Team Money, and now DayToRemeber gets another kill. The sprint is used by Most Wanted. They want to find the Sobek.
And the damage out of DayToRemeber. This is that late game Jing way. The Doubleon goes the way of the Hunter, and DayToRemeber still pushing forward. Most Wanted looking to make this come back right now. They got half the amount of kills of Envy, but they just don't care.
But
tier 2 goes down. Skeeledon going to get a tier 2 for himself, so that'll be 1,500 in the other direction. What was almost a tie game jetted back up to 3K. Excellent map awareness from Skeeledon.
And
Love
now,
it.
Most Wanted get the tier 1 tower. They're not hesitating. They're going to this Fire Giant. 20 seconds on Team Money, about 10 seconds on NeiruMah. They have a 5-on-3 power play. They have the wrap to secure this. Nobody here from EnVyUs, and this is going to be the late game objective that Most Wanted need to start winning these team fights, because they don't want to allow any sort of rotation from Skeeledon. Now, he exposed the right side Phoenix out of Most Wanted, so there's going to have to be a lot of wards to make sure he doesn't exploit that option.
And Plazma remembers what he did to Noble in the last set, so he's certainly got that in mind. And you know, this is the answer to the question that I was asking you before, Tolly. I said, you know, how big can this lead get before Most Wanted really have to sort of throw in the towel, because the late game dominance out of Most Wanted is certainly there with respects to Envy. Aquarius is going to have more impact in these team fights late than Kiki, right? And you're going to see the same out of DayToRemeber versus Cabom. Let's take a look at the graphs real quick. The highest that this lead has gone was about 5,000 gold for Envy, and that is certainly a lead that you can fight into by Most Wanted.
But more importantly, it was about an 8,000 experience lead out of them, and they just didn't really group up as 5 cohesively enough to keep taking advantage of their lead. But now Skeeledon right behind, getting a nice triple Scratchies, but now getting caught in an awkward position, forced to drop the kitties defensively just to deter Plazma away, as the rest of Most Wanted trying to get that tier 2 in the mid.
And there's the jump in from the Fat Man. That's going to leave him exposed to a nice flip. And NikHaro in trouble. Gets ulted a couple of times and knocked up, but still not dead yet.
Through space. Ooh, split right through the uprights. Great separation from Most Wanted. They got what they came for, which was the tier 2 mid tower. Now shifting on over to strip away this red buff. Could look for the Gold Fury, as it has just respawned. Really coming back into this stride of their game.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically a tie game right now. Teams separated by less than 1,000. And with that invade and this Gold Fury, Jolie, this is going to give the lead to Most Wanted. And we cannot defend this whatsoever.
Those crits! 1,100 coming out of DayToRemeber.
Yeah.
Once these team fights start rolling around, NeiruMah and Kiki has to be so careful about their positioning. If any one of them is too far in the front, the Nemesis ultimate from Plazma, the sheer crits coming out of DayToRemeber is just going to absolutely delete those 2 tanky frontliners.
And you know, this is that late game coming into it right now. Most Wanted, again, half of the amount of kills of Envy, EnVy has had the domination of this game for, it's a half hour on the clock. 22 minutes of this belong to EnVy.
Look at those wards by Most Wanted. They recognize the comeback potential from EnVyUs. They feel like all they have to worry about is Skeeledon split pushing with that teleport second relic. As long as they can deal with that, they know they can win these fights 5-on-5, no problem at all. They have the damage now with the late game form of Plazma, Aquarius, and ManRay.
Again, talking about this Most Wanted team looking better than some of the Pro-Am teams, as that's what a Challenger Cup team is. You know, this is them understanding and staying mentally tough into the game with a disadvantage, understanding that they can come around in the late game. Kiki with a great knock-up silence. He's going to get 3 of them, but Most Wanted just don't seem to mind. Skeeledon gets caught on the flank, and that dash out of NeiruMah not going to be fruitful this time around. Most Wanted now backing up and looking for a secondary initiation.
Well, Kiki does have teleport. He's going to come back into this team fight without his ultimate, but he does have the Sunder. Luckily for Most Wanted, they have the Fire Giant for more sustain. They're going to continue the onslaught on the right-hand side, but we do see all the crits coming onto Kiki. It's a lot of damage, and now with initiation from NikHaro in the backline, forcing T Money out of the fight.
DayToRemeber still just tunneling onto this tower, and down it goes, 1,500 in the pockets of Most Wanted. Again, they've got what they came for. This team is definitely understanding of their situation and what they want to find. Skeeledon, no escape. Plazma gets a slow, gets a couple of hits, and he's going to get knocked up by the Sobek. Still looking for the kill. Skeeledon, it's dashed through and gets taken down.
And now the rest of Most Wanted grouped up in mid. 5-on-4 power play if they want to keep going. They don't have any minions, but as long as they have Aquarius tanking and the shell from NikHaro, they're going to keep going. Kiki trying to do what he can with his ultimate, but it's not going to be enough. This mid Phoenix is falling very quickly.
Phoenix is the focal point for the guys on Most Wanted. Basic attack still coming out. Everybody from EnVy being chased on the backside. Kiki's low, and he's going to be chased out, but again, keeping the structure in mind. Most Wanted doesn't go too deep and gets the Phoenix. EnVy has had this game for the majority of it, but now Most Wanted, they're the ones that get the first Phoenixes. They're the ones that have the lead, and they're the ones that have the game in their clutches.
This team does not look like a Challenger Cup team whatsoever. Man. This is the true definition of an SPL team. They can play from ahead, they can play from behind, they know their strengths, they're playing to it right now, they're grouping up, and honestly, it's just beautiful play from Most Wanted. I'm really excited that they're able to make an impressive set against Noble and now manage it to come back in game number 1 against EnVyUs. Now, they haven't won it quite yet, right? They got the mid Phoenix, and that's fine and dandy, but EnVyUs has the tools necessary to make the comebacks. It's all about Skeeledon and his potential to split push.
Yeah, Most Wanted still have to be aware that the wards that we complimented Most Wanted for have faded. So Skeeledon can make the play if he chooses to. Fire Giant half HP. EnVy looking to contest this time around. Absolutely the right call. Team's going to fight into it. Kiki makes himself known, and the peel off of the Fire Giant is going to be successful. Most Wanted now looking for the team fight. There's NeiruMah in the middle of everybody. Pops out of the ultimate. Not that big of a deal. Here's everybody fighting on the backside. Ultimate out of the Nemesis. Not going to be as successful just yet. And T-Money on the backside, what's he doing?
He tried to go through the walls, but the last portal was not good enough. T-Money taking out ManRay, and DayToRemeber, though, taken out by Skeeledon. 1-for-1 trade so far. Cabom, though, gets knocked up. Gonna get stunned out by Aquarius as well, but the Disapparate is good enough to keep him alive for now, just barely getting away with his life. The dash and the second ability finds the kill.
Most Wanted are able to answer back a little bit, but with DayToRemeber down, EnVy have basically won the team fight. I mean, that's a very, very big part of what Most Wanted have been able to do in the late game. It's been DayToRemeber. He's 5-3-2 at the moment. Totally, we mentioned how hard those crits are coming thanks to the Jing way, and you know this character, this player, he's definitely the correct target for EnVy to be calling in this late game. And EnVy, thanks to their experience, they know who to kill, and it's all DayToRemeber. ManRay is not the hard carry in this game. Aquarius is not the hard carry in this game. As long as DayToRemeber is down, Most Wanted probably lose the team fight.
Honestly, they need every member up and alive for Most Wanted. Everybody's playing such a crucial role for Most Wanted's team composition to be able to win these team fights. ManRay provides the bomb setups from a distance very safely, doesn't have to overexpose himself for that form of CC, which then allows Plazma and DayToRemeber to focus that one primary target that gets stunned out reducing the protections with the Nemesis ultimate. The crits coming out of DayToRemeber have just been absolutely too devastating for EnVyUs. And now it's going to be most wanted. With all the revives, they're still feeling confident. The mid Phoenix is still down for EnVyUs. Somebody has to respond to defend the Firemans in that waves. And this is why most wanted are grouped up, trying to place these aggressive offensive sentry wards.
And now with DayToRemeber back, most wanted certainly looking to make the fight. But Envy has had a fantastic time at isolating and separating the individuals and finding these picks. That's what Envy has been really successful on, and I'm really liking while watching it happen. You're getting good pluck out of the Sobek. You're getting a nice slow or a knockup out of Kiki. And then Skeeledon's just able to pounce in and pounce out. Sobek forced to use Charge Prey defensively. The rest of Most Wanted now collapsing on top of Kiki. Good stuns on to Skeeledon, and the dash away from ManRay is going to be successful.
Still trying to dive onto Team Money. He barely escapes into that portal. Now Kiki being able to silence out 3 members, but he only has NeiruMah right beside him, having to utilize that. Janus ultimate connects onto ManRay. Ooh!
Janus has been so powerful. The utility out of the portals, and of course the damage this time around. Kiki looking for the kill, but the rest of Most Wanted going to collapse onto him. The Chaac's in a little bit of trouble. Shell's going to help him out. DayToRemeber on his last legs. Able to find an exit up to the north, however. He'll go back to base.
What a snipe coming out of Team Money, but Plazma's not out of danger quite yet. He utilized both of his dashes, now going to get plucked back into the backline. Cabom gets the second kill for EnVyUs in that drawn-out team fight, and this could be EnVyUs coming back into it. They do have a 5-on-3 power play for another 25 seconds.
Yeah, this is a great call for Envy to do something aggressive. Team Money's a little low, so he's going to head to base. In fact, a lot of players on Envy will opt to go back to base, just looking for the full reset. Unfortunately for Envy, that'll sort of relinquish their power play here, their grip on the enemy. ManRay is going to be spawning in a matter of seconds, and Plazma will be behind him in about half a minute. So Envy are looking at more of a 4-on-5 right now, rather than a 3-on-5. Which 3-on-5 is almost guaranteed to go your way. The enemy's probably just going to retreat. 4-on-5, I think you'll see a majority of teams fight into that, despite only having the 4.
I think EnVyUs is just going to look for maybe a pick potential. They're going to look to find somebody out of position. We saw Skeeledon trying to isolate ManRay in that last team fight. It's such an important, patient waiting game between those two. If they can find the bombs down into Skeeledon without having that Mad Guy's Blessing, they could lock down Skeeledon and force a kill, or at least maybe force that purification to get away. But Skeeledon, he has the damage to really exploit ManRay. Even if he does Sanctuary, he could just go for round 2 later on.
Right now, NikHaro just going to get poked out a little bit. Not too much of a concern here. 37 on the clock. Most Wanted trailing by 8 kills, despite the fact that they are up in the gold lead, 2,000 or so, but now's about the point in time where the gold lead is virtually irrelevant. You're going to be talking about difference between wards, a couple of potions here or there per player, but really nothing too impactful until we start to see an absorbent gold lead, which results in 3,000 pots. For now, it's really just about a little bit of history in the game. Everything all even for all intents and purposes here in our late game.
Both teams just doing a little bit of a ward battle right now. We see the sentry ward in the middle of the fire. Ooh, Skeeledon looking for the split push potential, but gonna get met up with Plazma. The shield is gonna help him survive that little 1v1 skirmish very easily. Plazma winning that skirmish.
And that's one. We'll see how it works out after the secondary initiation, because you know Skeeledon's gonna come right on back. He didn't use the cats, so he certainly has that option available to him. Right side, however, the rest of the team's looking towards gold. Or fire, excuse me.
They're trying to find this late game objective. It seems that Most Wanted are going to start it up, but does get spotted out by NeiruMah. Trying to find that pluck maybe for the rest of his team. The bomb is coming out. Kiki's coming in. And that's going to be the fire for Most Wanted yet again.
Team Money drops the ultimate, and that's going to be used offensively, looking for the play around the corner. Team Money half HP. Plazma on the backside in a lot of trouble. Skeeledon trying to deal the damage. Pounce is good. The scratchies, as you say, are going to miss. But here comes ManRay, providing the help alongside DayToRemeber. And this is a great play coming out from Most Wanted. We've seen them take the fire and get aggressive. Here, they're just going to retreat.
Tunnel visioning was Skeeledon because behind him was NikHaro that belly flopped over into those right side mid harpies. He was at about half health. He could have definitely found a guaranteed slow for the rest of EnVyUs to really find at least one guaranteed kill. Instead, he tried to land that third ability onto Plazma, but not able to connect. And everyone getting away from Most Wanted cleanly after getting their second Fire Giant.
And that's the first time all game that Most Wanted have made an engagement, made an initiation, got an objective, and gotten out clean. And that might be all Most Wanted need. They have all 5 players, they have their Fire Giant around their waists, and now they're looking for the push.
They have to be able to get this mid Phoenix that has respawned. It's half health, very easy for Most Wanted to be able to secure. Trying to look for the side flanks here. Plazma on the right.
I love the option to give DayToRemeber the speed buff here. On this Jing way, he's going to look to be agile, no pun intended, and just try to maneuver throughout the team fight, thanks to those knockups both provided by him and the Sobek. So he's going to be looking to be very quick and try to get all around this team fight. Most Wanted still have yet to find their way into the Phoenix.
NikHaro taking a lot of poke, does have the Fire Giant buff to sustain, but it's not going to be too quickly though for him. He has to be very mindful about his next engage. He's going to probably try to go into the backline onto Cabom, but it's going to be Kiki trying to utilize that ultimate, but now with the Nemesis ultimate, he's forced to run away. The Janus doing a lot of work with that ultimate, but now NikHaro finding the belly flop onto Skeeledon, forcing them out, and now nowhere for NeiruMah to go but the graveyard.
DayToRemeber making the big swings count. T-Money takes down DayToRemeber to half with the ultimate, and then follows up with a
that one bomb
on the Cabom.
That's all it took, man, that one bomb. So 1-for-1 trade so far. So the Hunter, which is actually more important now for EnVyUs to be able to defend, but NikHaro's not done yet. He belly flops in, and he's going to sacrifice himself. The rest of EnVyUs, though, in a little bit of trouble, though, as Aquarius is on the backside, forcing T-Money out. Cabom left alone, could get turned on. Skeeledon is very low as well here. Nemesis ultimate forcing out the Sanctuary. This could be another kill.
And there it goes. Plazma takes out Cabom, but Skeeledon answers right on back with ManRay. And again, I think the target prioritization out of EnVy is just too strong. Aquarius does take out Skeeledon, however. 2 players on Most Wanted. It's Aquarius and Plazma.
The ultimate is back up, and so it is from Kiki as well. And now Plazma's forced to retreat, trying to get away from the axe. The Torrent giving him a little bit more protections, but Aquarius could look for T-Money, but the portal will keep him up alive. So overall, EnVyUs has been successful with the defense. They keep their Phoenix alive. They respond by killing 3 members out of Most Wanted, only losing 2 in the process.
EnVy looking very strong on defense. And right now, able to maintain their footing. The Phoenix still stands, which is a very big point for EnVy and their fans at home. They need to continue to play this sort of defensive game until they're able to bite back and find their offensive push. Most Wanted lose 3 of their Fire Giants. And the other 2 were only online for about 20 seconds anyway. So.
And they basically lose their whole Fire Giant buff because of how long it took for Most Wanted to look for that initial push down the mid lane. Fire Giant buff fading away in 15 seconds from Most Wanted. They have to figure out the right way to engage here. They can't just rely on NikHaro belly flopping in because he's going to just die very instantly. They need to rely on ManRay and maybe taking out these tanky frontliners. Have Plazma be that primary engager to follow up.
But like I said, EnVy have been playing extremely well when it comes to target prioritization. ManRay and DayToRemeber are their 2 prime targets. They're not really concerned about NikHaro. Plazma's annoying, and Aquarius is doing what he does. But those 3 players aren't really on their sights. It's all about DayToRemeber, who's going to do this late game carrying and really bring a lot of the damage. And ManRay, the player that's going to set up and he's going to bring damage of his own. He's a mage, and it's the late game, and he's got to run it to Hootie. That's his job. So EnVy understanding which characters are the heaviest or the strongest right here in the late game, and they're doing a great job of choosing their targets.
Skeeledon, though, Mad Guys got popped earlier on, and now the Intoxicate coming out of NikHaro, though. The ultimate's connecting as well. It's going to probably force out the Sanctuary, but it's on cooldown, so clean kill. The through space and time, not really connecting onto anybody. Now it's a 5-on-4 play for Most Wanted. They don't have to go for Fire Giant here. They could just force themselves into this mid Phoenix.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do. Fire Giant spawned right about now. But the rest of EnVy just looking towards the structure rather than the objective. NeiruMah below half HP. T-Money finds a target with the portal. And that's going to be Plazma. A little bit of a shield should help heal up just a little bit. And Most Wanted looking for the resurgent play into the Phoenix. Here it comes. Kiki starts things off with a nice knock-up into silence, but the stun out of the Bacchus is going to be good enough, and the Phoenix falls down to DayToRemeber. Kiki's the target at the moment now. He gets hit by an ultimate, and he's going to walk away no problem. And Most Wanted going to peel off after getting what they came for.
Barely able to get away from that one. Look how low everyone from Most Wanted is. It could seem that EnVyUs could utilize the Janus mobility to really lock down these members. Aquarius is kind of backing in their faces. It's going to be Sobek charge praying, trying to disrupt it, but not able to get there in time. Kiki teleporting in the backhand side. He gets off a huge slow, and the third space inside fights two!
Two for the price of one. Team Money gets players lined up and lined down. Kiki now on the backside. That might be the ultimate to win the game, folks. EnVy pushing up the mid lane. Here's the ultimate out of Aquarius. Not going to be enough. Stuns out one. The rest of EnVy on the other side looking for the tower, and the tier 2 is going to fall down. EnVy still pushing forward. Two players sitting down for about a minute here. EnVy pushing forward. It's 5-on-3 thanks to Team Money by his lonesome. There comes the ultimate out of the support. Aquarius able to clean up. Team Money sits down, and Most Wanted ensures that this won't be the final push of the game.
And now Kiki just disrupting the backline out of Most Wanted. Can't really secure that mid Phoenix for EnVyUs, and now it's Aquarius. Wants to utilize that mobility that he has to chase down the members out of EnVyUs, though. They still have a 3-on-4 play, though. Team Money did fall in the process. I didn't really see how that one happened, but Aquarius still pressing down mid. There are fire minions that EnVyUs has to deal with. They can't get the fire giant. They can't get the mid Phoenix. That was such a sick snipe coming out of Team Money.
I mean, that was just fun to watch at the end of the day. That one just lined it up.
Goosebumps.
Just, ooh.
I got goosebumps off of that one, man.
Most Wanted going to start the fire giant. NeiruMah is here, but he does not have a Wrath like Aquarius does. There comes the initiation from the rest of Most Wanted, and the Sobek's in trouble. He's silenced out, so no dash, and DayToRemeber puts him down. And so Most Wanted finding another kill. It's 15-22. The red team looking up and EnVyUs.
And yet again, speed buff onto DayToRemeber. Kiki gonna get knocked up, taking a lot of poke in return. All 5 members are here, staying strong for Most Wanted. Without that tanky frontline presence from NeiruMah, they have to back off and reset, but with Team Money respawning, can he find another snipe? Skeeledon looking for that mid Phoenix.
And he's likely gonna get it.
ManRay, oh, okay. Whew. Just got shocked. I saw that snipe, but the fire giant does go in the way of Most Wanted yet again. Mid Phoenix does fall by a great split push from Skeeledon, but forcing the issue is Aquarius, stunning out Cabom, trying to find another kill.
There's the ultimate out of Kiki. Gonna grab 3 with the knockup in the silence. Cabom's likely to fall here. Last hit. That's what he's looking for. The portal's not gonna help him out.
It did! Oh no, it didn't. DayToRemeber was waiting on the opposite side.
And that's a beautiful play out of Most Wanted's Hunter. Skeeledon successfully tagged the Phoenix in the mid lane on the other side just to answer back, but Most Wanted going to get a second. It's 2 versus 1 as far as the dead Phoenixes are concerned. EnVy, 96,000. Most Wanted, 99,000. Pushing into the Titan. It's the final fight. DayToRemeber can't find the kill in the fountain. Titan is going to be the target. Does Most Wanted have enough damage? EnVy are here to play defense. They have 3 players that are excellent at defending this objective. Right now, half HP, still taking it down. 1,500, 200, it's gone. Most Wanted with the turnaround kill takes game 1.
Great play from Most Wanted. What an exciting back and forth game between EnVyUs and Most Wanted. The snipes from Team Money, just overall the team fight presence from all of Most Wanted. I can't wait to see game 2.
That's not Most Wanted's game to win.
No, not at all.
That's not Most Wanted's game to win.
They were down like 8,000 experience, 6,000 gold at one point. They came back with just beautiful late game presence. You know, their composition, like you mentioned before, was just better in the late game.
Yeah, no, they had the late game composition, and I don't care about any of that nonsense. What I care about is the mentality of these players right now, because again, speaking to, you know, they shouldn't be here and everything. I'm just very impressed, and I'm going to throw that storyline out of the window, because right now, Most Wanted are playing like they do deserve to be here, and their gameplay, their presence of mind, and their ability to stay fastidious in these late game uphill battles is impressive to me. And I think, you know, after one set, you go, okay, that was the bottom seed. After the second set, I think you can make some talks about this roster here, totally. But at the end of the day, being able to come back after a 16,000 deficit and able to fight back, I enjoy that.
Very impressive play by Most Wanted. They definitely earned my respect so far. Being able to play from ahead, play from behind, winning against Noble, now winning the first game against EnVyUs in the second set. If they win one more, they're going to be against enemy.
That'll be tough.
That will be tough, but either way, they're climbing the ranks so far. They're one game away from making it to the next phase.
Yeah, like we said, we're here in the Gauntlet. We're in the Mortal Kombat style sort of ladder. where we have to see them face off against the next player. Still, best of 3. Envy did look strong in certain points, and I still I want to give a lot of credit where credit is due. One, Kiki looked great in that solo lane. I think the return to the solo lane was fantastic for him. T-Money on the Janus, which I think Janus always deserves an asterisk when you're talking about how well the mid laner played, but T-Money on the Janus made it count.
Yes,
you really like the
those
snipe.
clutch snipes. I got goosebumps too. I think he killed one person one time, and then he found a double un, as you like to call it, with the one ability. You know, he got a twofer.
Yeah,
he got a twofer.
The 2-for-1, man. Yeah. You know all about those twofers. And then Skeeledon playing the cat. Got a lot of kills with the scratchies, as you like to say, and then getting the split push over there on the what's it called, on the mid lane. Phoenix really making it count. Unfortunately, his team was unable to dial it back. But here's Skeeledon.
This
very
is the first
quietly
blood.
finding first blood.
Yeah, and this is what they were trying to keep exploiting onto Aquarius. Even in the earlier stages, they were able to really find it. I think this is the snipe that T-Money hit from a distance onto ManRay, and Skeeledon was able to clean up DayToRemeber. Playing that Jing way, was doing such a good job with those crits, being paired up with the Nemesis ultimate, just shredding the protections, making it so much easier. And overall, that was just a sick team fight. Everybody was dropping one by one by one.
Yeah, this is Skeeledon. Skeeledon had a really big impact in this game, specifically on that Bastet. This is a character that, like we said, when Envy won their first game in the LAN phase here, Skeeledon pulled out the cat.
Yeah.
And this is a character that, you know, I know Skeeledon plays well, and I think it took DJ Perdiccas bringing it out to really let players know, like, hey, you're allowed to play Bastet. It's not that terrible, right? And it's a very strong choice, and Skeeledon able to bring this one out. I really hope to see him on it again, because I think that had Envy won, I think we would be calling Skeeledon the MVP of the game and saying that he was the majority reason that Envy wins that game.
Absolutely.